Welcome to the Vault Excel. Thank you for joining me. This commentary is pertaining to the Proudfoots, Bowersoxes versus Bullhorn Betty, the latest developments in a protective order that was taken out against her. I'm going to go back 2 weeks and up into the present state of this debacle coming out of Tennessee. Let's go back 2 weeks pertaining to the 7-month mark of the disappearance of Sebastian. Thank you for joining me.
Teenager out of Sumner County still missing now 7 months later, and several agencies and groups have searched for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers, but there's been no new information from law enforcement. News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry spoke with Sebastian's biological father about the search timeline and its progress.
7 months have come and gone.
A search for missing Sumner County teen Sebastian Rogers.
15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. He believes Sebastian is still alive.
With no sight of missing Sumner County teen Sebastian Rogers.
It's 7 months. It's almost been, after 6 months. It's just like I thought we would have found it by now. Month 1 was intense for the first half of it. It seemed like there was a lot of people that were on board trying to find Sebastian. And then after that, it became a circus.
15-year-old Sebastian Rogers went missing from his home in Hendersonville on February 26th. Several agencies spent more than a week searching the area around his home, including a landfill in Kentucky, before scaling the search back to an investigative format.
We are still committed to finding Sebastian and bringing him home safe. We have no leads, no details to indicate that Sebastian is not alive.
But community members continued bringing awareness by handing out flyers and posters. Following the search for Riley Strain, the United Cajun Navy came in to help, but in less than a week, pulled back their search efforts after several threats.
Just because you pick up a phone and start recording, you can either help with that or you can hinder.
Since they scaled back the search, Sumner County law enforcement have not reported any new information.
We get tips and stuff that were coming in. We didn't know if law enforcement was following up on them or not. And now that we have Dog's team, he has a whole team of attorneys, lawyers, private investigators.
The FBI recently announced a $50,000 reward for information following that announcement. Dog the Bounty Hunter joined in on the search, raising that reward to $100,000. But for now, Seth Rogers holds on to the hope that his son is still alive.
And every day I wake up hoping that I get the phone call today that, hey, we found Sebastian.
And clings to the 15 years of memories he shared with Sebastian.
I remember changing diapers, I remember making bottles, I remember taking him swimming, I remember taking him fishing.
In Nashville, Caitlin Quisenberry, News 2.
Okay, that was the biological father of Sebastian. 7 months plus now that the child has been missing. There's now a reward for him, $100,000. Dog the Bounty Hunter has entered into the picture to aid Seth in finding his son. Seth believes his child is alive. But with all that being said, there's still a lot of nonsense brewing with the child being missing. I was just listening briefly to Duty Ron, his network, and he has some, choice words for Miss Betty pertaining to her demeanor and her involvement in this case. Once again, you're entitled to your opinion of all parties. I'm just here to bring the latest developments. She was arrested. She has been cited for violating said protective order. And as I said, I was listening to his content pertaining to her and her involvement in this case and other cases. And he feels like she's meddled in a lot of cases and has not brought forward any substance to any of these true crime cases. As I have said before many times in talking about true crime cases, why I don't really talk about them as of late, it's because I've said it before, a lot of people aren't genuine in covering the cases. When you have a platform that allows you to make funds from the content, it is what it is. So it really doesn't matter what you're talking about, whether you're talking about sewing a quilt or, how to throw a fishing pole into the water. So long as a platform pays you money to talk and speak, you'll say whatever for the almighty dollar. That's just the way it is. And I've said this numerous times, that you don't know people. So when you look at the case of this child, just like any other true crime case of a missing person or child, what you have to do is use deduction in what is the truth. Okay. One, say it again. You don't know the people in the story. The story is negative. So negative breeds negativity. That's any situation, whether it reaches a platform or not. Negativity breeds negativity. Chaos breeds chaos. And that's what this case is about. It's chaotic. It's such as what Duty Ron was saying about Summer Wells and Quentin Simon, the shit show. Everybody wanting to get involved and put their 2 cents in and meddle. Some people on board with it. Once again, you're entitled to your opinion. But each case showed you there was chaos already. Because all you had to do was look at the people in the story who were talking about the person that's missing. This is the very reason why it becomes chaotic, because the people in the story are chaotic and or portray themselves as chaotic. So you can't expect anything good to come from the story. What is it that people don't understand about that? And then you got these other people who put their tentacles into the story, and then tentacles are already attached to the story, and then they lash out and then they grab people in who are also disingenuous. This happens all the time. And now that we have social media, it's worse. See, we're not talking about 30, 40 years ago when there were no platforms. There was nobody to go run and spread the good news. The only way you heard the story is either through a news broadcast or a radio broadcast. Well, now that you have all these platforms, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, IG, anybody can go live and give their opinion about something. What they think, what they know, what they saw, what they heard. Okay? And so the good news just travels and travels and travels, whether it's the truth or not. So this case is no different. It's no different. But what's interesting is how far are these people willing to take this freedom of speech? Okay? What you can and cannot say, because lots of people have given their opinion pertaining to the Proudfoots, the Bowersoxes, what they think of them, their involvement in the disappearance of the young boy. And how many more people are you going to take to court? Let's just keep it real. I don't have to agree with Bullhorn's tactics, because there's a lot of things I don't agree with pertaining to YouTube and its entities. But when you're talking logistically, you have a whole lot of people in court on what they've said, either on YouTube or any other platform, okay? Because a lot of people have said negative things about these entities. All parents, all side shows, all side relatives, sisters, brothers, cousins, everybody's had something to say about the family members, what they said, didn't say, how they said it, how they worded it, because it's par for the course. Is it right? Of course not. But that's the point. We have our opinions. And I do believe Duty Ron and some others have given their opinions about true crime cases where they thought a party was guilty as well. So you have to own your part as well in what you also said about people who you thought were guilty. You just haven't gone deep belly in the beast, maybe in this case, to give your opinion of who you think is guilty and who is not. Has this lady violated these people's privacy, stalked them, harass them? Let's go to WKRN News 2. We're backtracking. Thank you for joining me. Hello, Scott. Thank you for joining me. Thank you all.
After the woman accused of harassing Sebastian Rogers' family was arrested, the missing teen's mother earned an order of protection after claiming she was being stalked and falsely accused by a YouTuber. Andrew Griffin, also known as Bullhorn Betty, was booked into Sumner County Jail. Clarksville police say they initially arrested her for an out-of-county warrant for contempt. The Florida woman was charged with violating that same protection order. 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers disappeared in February from his family's home in Hendersonville. It will soon be 6 months since he went missing.
Well, it's now past that mark. Way past that mark. Hold on one second. We're going to get a little bit of information from the court proceeding. Hope everyone is well. Thank you for joining me. Once again, as I said, how far is this going to go? As far as what you can and cannot say on social media pertaining to anything. If not this story, it's something else. Court TV is the source.
Turning now to Tennessee, where a hearing took place on Thursday in the case of missing teen Sebastian Rogers. The 15-year-old was last seen at his mother's home in Tennessee back in February. Sebastian, who has autism, disappeared overnight, leaving his shoes behind. The search has gone national, with some YouTubers getting involved, including Andra Griffin, a.k.a. Bullhorn Betty. In July, Sebastian's mother, Katie Proudfoot, filed a protection order against Bullhorn Betty, accusing her of harassment. The following month, Bullhorn Betty was arrested for violating the restraining order. Yesterday, the judge granted a new protection order against Andra Griffin. Both Griffin and Sebastian's stepfather, Christopher Proudfoot, spoke during that hearing. Take a listen to some of their testimony.
After being arrested, you still saw fit to continue your advocation with a voices needed. Yes.
Sebastian matters to me a lot.
How much?
I'd like to find the answers. I'd like to bring him home, and I'd like to bring him home safely. And I hope the application that we do, along with other people like me, help aid in that effort.
When did you first come to Sumner County, Tennessee about the Sebastian Rogers case?
I think I arrived here, it was June 22nd, but it was in the evening, so it was just basically checking into a hotel, resting because it was a long drive.
Okay. Then what did you do?
One of the main key factors of this case is that the child disappeared between midnight and 6 a.m. So one of the first things I wanted to do was preview the area at night to see what it looked like. I've never been here. I know nothing about this area. I know nothing about how dark it is outside or what certain lights are where. And the only way you can get that information is previewing it at the time of night that it allegedly happened. And as being a investigative reporter, I do look into those. I look into factual information, whether things hold water or can be disproved.
So what did you do?
I got up, I took a stroll, and of course I have a dash cam in my car, so I just click it, and I basically...
Well, let me ask you this. Where were you staying?
She's in the middle of answering your question.
Pardon?
Let her finish.
Sure. So I was staying in Goodlettsville at a hotel.
Good.
And so I was just, I have a dash cam, and so all I pretty much did is, I think it was less than 20 minutes, 25 minutes from the time I left my hotel to the time I got back. And I just drove through and got a nighttime view and looked at everything that we saw on the news, just to get a lay of the land. A lot of people were making a lot of allegations related to the video that was seen, and I wanted to see what the shadows meant, where the lights were, just a lay of the land, so to speak.
Please be very certain with your answer. Have you ever intentionally communicated to Christopher Proudfoot?
I I do believe I did respond to him at some point in this.
You responded to this text?
Yes, sir.
How did you respond?
There was also some threats of violence toward me from a content creator named Ricky Don Smith. And I had asked him, this is a person who's been on our channel with multiple times, and I asked him if he could please stop her from threatening me.
Stop who from threatening?
Ricky Don Smith.
What are you afraid of from Andrew Griffin?
What am I directly afraid of, sir? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Well, when you make a video threatening that you want to bring a gun from another state to this state, directly videos related to me, my wife, my family, that's a threat, plain and simple.
Yeah.
She also said she was going to bring a machete, for the record. No, sir. No, sir.
Would you agree that what's seen and heard is unheard?
I'm not an expert to make this.
Do you believe everything on the internet to be truthful?
Possibly. Maybe.
Further, Your Honor.
Questions? Yes, Your Honor. That Ms. Griffin never directly called you, texted you, correct? Besides exchange receipts.
Hasn't contacted me other than via
Contacted you based off of
hundreds.
Is it possible to avoid the media circus that surrounds Ms. Griffin's conduct?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Personal phone number, that way?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you have any other social media accounts?
Again, sir.
Okay. But is there contact?
Yes, sir.
To be following, updating you on the latest developments throughout the day right here on Court TV.
Okay, so kind of breaking up there. Let me go in and read what this nonsense is all about. Thank you for joining me. Katie and Chris, along with Chris's parents, have accused YouTube content creator Andrea Griffin, aka Bullhorn Betty, of stalking and harassing them. At a hearing on Thursday, Sumner County General Sessions Judge Ron Blanton upheld orders of protection for all 4 adults and Chris' minor children. Griffin, who testified at the hearing, identified herself as an investigative reporter and submitted to the court a homemade media ID that she had created to wear while out recording. In court documents reviewed by Court TV, Griffin is accused of approaching the family across multiple states and encouraging her followers online to harass the family. Chris testified at the hearing that Griffin had threatened to bring a gun from another state as well as a machete. Chris's attorney showed a compilation of Griffin's videos during the hearing, which featured her asking her followers to get her information about the Proudfoots. In one, she appeared to threaten the family. "I've been very calm, very courteous," Griffin said in one clip. "I was trying to do my job without making a ruckus, but if you want to push me, honey, I'll come out with a whole pile of ruckus you guys won't even know what to do with, and your law enforcement will not be able to stop." When she was asked to clarify what that meant, Griffin said she simply meant that she holds all her protests on public property. Griffin's attorney, Terry Frizzle, told the judge, "What I saw here is offensive to me, but I believe Ms. Griffin has the right to make those statements as an American citizen." Judge Blanton disagreed, saying somewhere along the line, this turned into not a pursuit to find Sebastian Rogers, it turned into a personal vendetta. While Griffin professed to have come to Tennessee from her home in Florida to assist the search for the teen, there's very little testimony by you of what you've done other than harass the victims, Blanton said. As part of the protection order, Griffin is not allowed to have any contact with the families and must complete a firearms declaration. The judge also made it explicitly clear that she is not to discuss the family on social media, saying, "These people are basically not in your world anymore," quote unquote. An angry Seth Rogers stormed out of the hearing after the order of protection was granted. He spoke to cameras outside of the courtroom where he blasted the judge's decision as a blow to free speech. "You're not allowed to sit there and ask the questions, as somebody would say, the hard questions and get an answer," Seth said. Seth, who was a supporter of Griffin's, Also said he remains suspicious of his ex and her family. They haven't shed a single tear for my son being missing. They haven't looked, and they're doing everything they can to stop my son from being found. And if that doesn't scream guilt, then I don't know what does, quote unquote. Griffin is due to return to court on November 20th for a hearing on charges that she violated the restraining orders 6 times. Wow, wow, wow. So what is going to happen to Andra Griffin now that we see that the judge has not favored her in her disposition and her explanation pertaining to traveling to Tennessee and looking around the area, which is nothing wrong with that. You're looking around to see the area. But obviously her commentary on her channel has garnered her attention and garnered assertions by the Proudfoots, Bowersoxes, that she's threatening them, following them from state to state, going to the campground where they were staying, I guess near Memphis or whatever. It's a hot mess. It's a real hot mess. And what will be interesting is if indeed she is given jail time for stalking these people, as the judge is putting it. So she is not allowed to go near these entities, these 4 individuals or the children. And she is also not allowed to talk about them on social media. So, as I said earlier, with the free speech issue, how far is too far what you can and cannot say? Because as I said, many people have given their opinion pertaining to true crime stories, true crime cases, either just commenting under a video, an article, and or having a platform. Many people have insinuated that they believe all of these people are involved, not just Bowersoxes and the Proudfoots, even Mr. Rogers. There have been people who feel like he was involved. So my thing is, how far is everyone willing to take it with the protective orders? Because he also issued some himself, Mr. Rogers, pertaining to content creators, loosely used. It's sad. It's very sad. All of it's sad. Because amongst all this bickering back and forth, who did what, who said what, a child is still missing. That's the point of the story. The child is missing. He is still missing. So no matter what is going on with who thinks who should say what and not do what and who did what, the boy is still missing. And who Seth wants to aid him, that's his choice. Who the Proudfoots want to aid them, that's their choice. Nobody's going to agree. That's obvious. But finally, he is saying in this conversation I just brought you, they have not shed a tear for his son. Don't show any emotion about his son, haven't searched for his son. So he basically has finally said it. Your actions say otherwise. When I was waiting on the day that he would say that, because some of us are probably wondering, when is the day he is going to say, hey, you've done something to my child. But that's protocol. Whether you have proof a person did something or not, that is who is looked into. The last person that was with a missing person. It's common sense. Whether you have proof they did something or not, you're supposed to always look at the people who were with the person last. The person who last saw them was spending time with them. This is a debacle in itself. It's pathetic. Because we shouldn't be talking about a missing child. But as I've said before, pertaining to true crime, when it gets really gritty and grimy like this, like, Summerwell's, Quentin, California City Boys, it's all the same because it was grit in the story before you even knew the people. Checkmate. I'm going to always say that because it's obvious. The stories get gritty because of the people who were with the kid, in the kid's life. Stay woke now. You know, chaos breeds chaos. I keep saying that. And the devil knows how to reach out and use his tentacles to bring more foolishness to the story. That's his job. People are going to latch on to shit because a lot of people don't really have anything to do to damn selves. Okay? So they latch on. There was muck with the child and his own parents before you even knew Sebastian's name, you see. But I don't care what anybody says, that is the reason why he's missing. That should be obvious at this point, 7.5 months later. There was murk in the water. So once it went to airtime, there's this Caucasian kid missing out of Tennessee. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Here comes the chaos. And all it takes is one person speaking. Now, 2 people don't say anything else. Only one person speaking. Then here comes the roller coaster ride. Well, that doesn't look good. That don't sound good. And here comes the he said and the she said. Checkmate. Because there was murk in the water all along. So you can't expect something good to come from something that was already bad. You're almost 8 months in and there's no information. And as Mr. Deuteron said, doesn't mean they're not investigating. Doesn't mean they don't have any information. It's just they're not sharing. So what do they have at the moment? Law officials. TBI. What do you have in the case? Do you have a viable leads pertaining to Sebastian Rogers? What do you have at the current moment? Will $100,000 make somebody talk? How many parties are involved in the disappearance? Because at this point, I refuse to believe the child walked off. That's my public opinion. I don't think he did. I don't know him, never met him, but I don't think he left that house on his own. And I still believe that some of this nonsense going on with Bullhorn Betty and the Proudfoots and the Bowersoxes, it's still got some Seth Rogers mixed in it. Some animosity towards him because he's been the most vocal on news outlets pertaining to the disappearance of his son, as he should be. That is his child. So he has every right to talk to whomever he wants to talk to about his child. And see, that's where there's a problem, because these people are supposed to be caretakers of the boy. The boy was in their care, but yet you don't want to talk about him. The things that you did say about him was negative to a certain platform, but when it comes to the news, you don't have anything else to say. Why not? So to me, it is a little bit of Seth Rogers and Bullhorn both mixed in together. That's my personal opinion. It's a tit for tat type situation, because a lot of people have talked about the case. A lot of people have said things about the Seth, and a lot of things have been said about the Proudfoots. So you'd be in court all damn day with cease and desist and order of protection of who said what and who said something about me and who accused me of doing something to the little boy. I mean, come on. Now, naturally, you're not supposed to be threatening people, talking about what you're going to do to them. But we all trash talk, do we not? That's what was asked of Mr. Proudfoot. You believe everything you hear on the internet? You feel fearful of Miss Audra Griffin? Do you feel fearful, sir? I'm asking. Queen's asking. Griffin. That's my opinion. Now, maybe little Katie's scared. But you don't strike me as somebody who is fearful. To me, you appear to be a bully. Your demeanor. So that's why this is funny that you would take it this far to court, that you feel harassed. A lot of people have driven by your house. I can think of a video I watched where a guy rode around the house, the damn street, I know at least 4 or 5 damn times. He didn't get out. He didn't take pictures, to my knowledge, but he rode that damn street a lot to show the viewing audience where you all lived in a very nice, eloquent way. So someone can say that's stalking. Stay woke, everybody. See, everything's about interpretation. And yes, some people are on the bandwagon with the rhetoric, going to the house, taking pictures, standing outside, banging on doors, interviewing neighbors, trash talking on the YouTube channel, TikTok videos, blah, blah, blah. But you should know at some point in the end, there will probably be a fallout because that's just the way it is. Somebody's going to get mad at what you said. Somebody's going to fear for their safety. And now here comes a letter at your doorstep or a legal letter stating you're harassing me. You're harassing my family. But I don't think those people are scared one damn bit. I don't believe it. So my question is, who's next on the chopping board to say, oh, you're talking negative about me, you're accusing me of doing something to the boy child? But let's put Miss Griffin on the back burner, shall we? You all don't show any emotion towards the child. You don't seem interested in the child. You don't talk positive about the child. So that's not an assertion. That's facts. And that has nothing to do with Audrey Griffin. That has nothing to do with YouTube. That has nothing to do with social media. That's facts. You don't seem invested in finding the boy. Now, people can say what they want about mourning people and how people handle things, but you've contradicted that by going on panels and talking about the kid and saying negative things about his habits at home, things that really nobody should be talking about publicly anyway. But people want to know every damn thing, do they not? But sometimes it's not best for you to know everything. Because in the end, the story is not about you, you see. You're not the one missing, and you're not the one having people sit up on $2 panels talking negatively about you. Because I think if you were to hear it, you would feel some type of way, would you not? Of course you would. And this child can't defend himself. And so far, he hasn't come out to say, oh, yeah, I heard what you said about me on YouTube. Imagine that. This is a bad, 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 bad situation. Indeed it is. And I don't expect it to get better. Because you see, there was murk in the water in the first place. So there couldn't be anything good coming from the story. That's why he's missing, you see. And I think most of the people who are woke and intelligent and level-headed, you already knew that. There's a reason for the season. He's missing for a reason. This isn't happenstance. This isn't a case of the leaves changed because of the season and they fell off the tree. It's not that type of party. I do believe the child was deliberately removed. That's what I believe. And it's a shame because he's a child. He's a child of God, God's child. Nobody had the right to remove him. And as I said, the father has every right to have hope that his child is alive, because that's his child. He's not my child. And it would be nice to know that he's alive. But with that being said, you still have to use deduction and common sense. Well, who would have him and why would they have him? And how long would that last? To just what? Hide a kid out? Why would somebody be hiding a 15-year-old child? Stay woke. For what reason? These are the questions you have to ask. What would be the motivation to hide out a 15-year-old boy? Who? Why? where, and for how long. Because there has to be a moral to the story. And what would be the moral of this story? Hiding out a 15-year-old. These people are atrocious to me. See, this woman, her husband, his family members, I don't know them. I don't have to know them. I've watched it all unfold in the past several months, and it's buffoonery. And it was buffoonery, their behavior before Audra stepped into the picture, you see. Because as it's been said, there's an Audra 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through 3,000. Audra don't really have anything to do with how you have behaved. We could talk about her all damn day. What's your malfunction? Because you are the parents of the boy. Audra don't have nothing to do with that. You don't seem invested. You don't appear invested. So that's not a YouTube problem. That's not a TikTok problem, IG problem, Facebook problem, a Audra Griffin problem, a court problem. That's a mama, stepdaddy, his relatives problem. Problems. You're not invested. So you can take everybody to court that has something negative to say about you. Is that where this is going? They don't like me. They don't like the way I look. They don't like the way we act. Because some people feel like you all were intimidating as well. So exactly what you're accusing her of doing and other people, have you not done the same? Because that's the same allegations we've heard people say that you all were doing, that you all were bothering people and following people. So amazing how the tables turned to where she's ending up in court defending herself and what she has said on her channel about you and a machete and a gun and a this and that. But those same allegations were made against you all as well. Tit for tat. Checkmate. So what is that old saying about a pot and a pan and a kettle? You see where I'm going. One can't talk about the other. You all don't fear Audra Griffin. I'm not saying her tactics are right. Her behavior has been right in these true crime cases and going to these places, hooping and hollering with bullhorns and shit. I don't get down with that because I know that's a good way to get your mouth busted. And some people are daring like that. Queen is not. I like all my teeth where they are. And I like my head attached to my damn neck. I don't get off on that type of shit. But that's the point, to each his own. But you all are theatrical. Because this is your way of really getting up under Seth's skin, in my opinion. You don't give a fuck about Audra Griffin. You don't give a fuck about Seth. You don't give a fuck about that little boy. I think that's obvious. So this is just another way to just dig into the belly of Seth. Because you all had issues beforehand. That's what people need to understand about the story. This is some personal shit. It don't got nothing to do with people who talk on YouTube. YouTube is just the icing on the cake. As Dog Bounty Hunter said. Hey, you gonna sue him next? Gonna take him to court? He voiced his opinion. That he believes this is personal. There was a battle of custody. He said it outright. So where's Dog Bounty Hunter's? Where's his order of protection? Just saying. Let's keep this shit real. You gonna go all out? Go all out. She can't say anything about you all on her channel. So as I said, who's next on the chopping block can't say anything because you're now taking it from harassment to, oh, you can't talk about us either. Don't you say anything negative about us. So you don't want us talking about Katie got some glasses, you got some new glasses on in that courtroom, did you not, Queen? And that mullet, that's not cute either. But you can sure pop your ass back in town to go to court. That's funny to me. Nowhere in town looking for the little boy, because naturally you had to work. But when it comes to taking people to court, oh, you can show up for that. You people are funny. Because like I said, it'll be somebody else. And I believe anybody that would have feeling with Seth, you're going to have a problem with them. Mark my words. If he was to go out here and find a toad and the toad could talk, you'd have a problem with the toad and you'd be trying to take the toad to court. Because you all have an issue with Seth, vice versa. We don't really know all what was going on between these entities and this boy child, but it doesn't look good. It don't sound good. And one thing I've learned about the world, people don't tell you everything that's going on because they feel like, what is none of your damn business? So this is what I always tell people about true crime. And you can especially put this to print, especially dealing with that P. Diddy nonsense. Imagine what you don't know. Imagine what you do not know pertaining to all the people involved, including the missing child. Checkmate. Because there's always more to the story, you see. It's obvious. This is not about Miss Griffin. This is a control issue. Somebody needs to have control of the narrative, of the story. Now, who might that be? Because as I just said, if it's not Audrey, it'll be somebody else that these people will have a problem with. Seth, too. He'll probably have some problems with somebody else himself. And there's been so many people involved in this intricate web. Was it not? I started getting dizzy myself. Everybody jumping from panel to panel, got something to say, got something to bring, something to take away, accusation. Everybody mad at this one. I don't like her. I don't like what she said. I don't like what she did. She trying to get attention. He trying to get attention. Well, isn't that what it's all about? This YouTube? Who can holler the loudest? Of course. That's all it's about. You don't have to be anybody special to have a channel. It's your fucking Google name. Get serious. Get your 1,000 subscribers, put your bid in, poof, voila. YouTuber. It's not magic. Now all you got to do is start running your mouth about something. And that's all you see with this platform. Daggers. Who's doing this? Who's doing this? And a lot of people like all the nonsense. I don't really care for it, quite frankly. I can play along at times. But then at some point it becomes very boring. And it's quite boring. Because this nonsense going on right now is boring. There's a child. Because, Judge, you don't seem to understand. It was never about him. Well, what are you missing? That's why he's missing. Damn, Queen. That was good. Say it again. It's never been about Sebastian, you see. That's why he is missing. I believe that. So all this hooping and hollering and fluff and who's doing what and following whom and taking down pictures and photos and flyers and this and that and AI generated this and that. It's all fluff for somebody wanting to control the narrative of a missing child. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. And so, see, I can talk about it now without even getting my blood pressure up. Because the writing's been on the wall from day one. Because I always tell people, if you talk less and pay attention, you'll see everything you need to see. It'll play itself out and you won't even have to fret. You really won't even have to assume anything. You just let it play out. And my goodness, it's playing out, is it not? The people in the story are showing you what they're made of. And what did Maya Angelou once say? God rest her soul. When they show you who they are, believe them. So believe the people in the story, what they're saying to you. Or shall I say, the universe. I don't give two fucks about this kid. Believe me? Hell yeah. I do believe you. I've never gave two fucks about the kid. Do you believe me? Hell yeah. I believe you. So the rest of the story is self-explanatory. That's why he's missing. Checkmate. So you can post all these stupid little riddles and memes to your Facebook page, Mr. Proudfoot, because those are boring as well. You all can hide behind blocking this and that and who you don't want to see your page and all of those type of foolishness. Nobody cares because you're irrelevant, as we would say in the street, a non-relevant motherfucking factor. You don't have any importance because you've shown us who you are. That's all that matters to me. Everything else is fluff. The point is there's a child missing. And some people in the story are showing you they don't care about the child. That's why he's missing in the first place. Checkmate. And you don't have to be a kindergartner or a fifth grader to understand what I just said. Even a blind man could tell you there's something to this. And it ain't good. So Audra Griffin cannot contact these people, talk about them on her platform or any social media outlet. So I guess she'll be talking about other situations and circumstances. And now that she's in this predicament, has to go back to court next month, she's really opened the floodgate for her not to be able to say anything about anybody, because now other people will follow suit. As soon as she says anything, God forbid, they assume it's threatening, deemed threatening, they'll be dragging her ass into court as well. My. So you have to be very careful having a platform, because all it takes is for somebody to complain, either to YouTube or to the courts. That's the way it is. There's always somebody complaining. Lord knows I know. I was listening to one of my lives the other night. It's an older live from 3 years ago. And as I'm listening to myself and watching myself on the screen, because I was getting a lot of enjoyment out of it, I realized the things I've complained about are the same things I complain about now pertaining to the live chat. Nobody listens. Nobody pays attention. Everybody's talking about 3-5 different things in the chat. So it's kind of like, why do I do this? I'm serious. Why do you do this again? And in that case, what I was talking about, it had nothing to do with true crime. I was just talking about men, the games that men play. I think I'm going to recap that this week. Let it play and we go over the content. But I was listening to the questions and me responding. And one thing I was doing in that live that I don't like to do, and I've said this a lot of times during a live, I don't like to repeat myself. And I don't like to have to keep explaining something I already fucking said. But see, that's what you get when you sit up here on a public platform. Glutton for punishment. Because nobody listens. They hear what they want to hear, see what they want to see, and swear for God it's the truth. You can say something as plain as day, and somebody will still come in and ask a question about what you just said. And I found myself repeating myself, which that's a faux pas for the queen. Because queen don't like to repeat herself. She gets very annoyed. And so that's why, going back to that, I said to myself, this is the very reason why I don't like talking about true crime. I said, damn, you're talking about something else, and they're doing the same damn thing they would do if you was talking about somebody missing or dead. The same buffoonery. So it goes to show me it's not even about the content. It's the people listening that's the damn problem. Because they don't want to listen. They hear what they want to hear. Say it plain and stay still. No comprehension. So I told myself, I don't think it matters, Queen, but what you talk about, it won't even matter. But I brought this update because I was listening to Duty Ron, and I said, well, you probably should do an update, because I always said I don't have to talk about true crime every day, but if there's an update to something pertaining to the case, I'll bring it to you. Although this is not an update pertaining to the child, but it's pertaining to his parental figures. So I decided to bring you the information. Don't mention other people's names in the chat. Thank you. See? How y'all get started. Reason why I don't like talking about true crime. Because one thing begets another and starts problems. And I think everybody needs to own their part in talking about true crime and other cases, that you as well, you are also a part of the problem. So everybody needs to give up some type of ownership to the bullshit, okay? That's including the creator. That's including the people in the story. That's including the people who watch the content and the people who jump in and want to meddle. And a lot of you do this, and you don't realize maybe that you're doing it. You got to stop. Because this is not a game. This is a whole human missing. Okay? Well, chick, you want him to do what? You want him to sue her? For what? Talking about him? That's my point I'm trying to make in this video. How far are the people willing to take it as far as people talking about them? You'll be suing a lot of people. You'll be going to court with protection orders against half of YouTube, half of TikTok. Because everybody's got something to say that you're not going to like. And they're going to say something about you don't like. I can honestly say it's been enjoyable. I don't even get suggestions anymore about any true crime channels. You know why? Because I haven't been talking about it. That's what I told myself the other day. I said, you don't even get suggestions, Queen. In your feed, you don't get any suggestions for true crime channels because obviously I have jumped out of the algorithm. And oh boy, does it feel so good. It's a wonderful feeling. I don't even think about it because I don't want to be a part of it. Because there's too many things I can talk about than sit up and talk about a missing kid, because I don't like the bullshit that comes with it. So whether it's a child, it's a grown-up, as I just said, everybody has to own their part they play in talking about the true crime and the meddling and the throwing the daggers and to keep the bullshit and the rhetoric going. This is how it keeps going. I say something about the parents I don't like. I say something about a content creator. Then you come in and you chime in. Then you go spread it to the next chat. That's how the shit keeps going. Have y'all not noticed that? And everybody thinks they're better than this one, but you're not. You have to own your shit when you're up here. You got to own the part you play in the meddling and the creating the chaos, pushing the limit. We've all done it. But then you got to ask yourself, should I be doing this? Should I be a part of this nonsense? It's up to you. But I don't miss it. I can honestly say I don't miss nothing about it. Not nothing. Because in the end, it's about a kid. And he's missing. And he has not been found. He has not been located. And it's sad. And if I'm to have hope to say, well, I hope he's alive, I also have to use deduction. Well, my goodness, if he's alive, where is he? And who is he with? And why is he with these people or person? And how long are they going to keep him hidden? Because I can't see a noble reason to, one, kidnap a kid and hold him, hostage somewhere. And then we have to use common sense. Most people who kidnap children, it's for nefarious reasons. It's not because they were trying to save the child. So that's a thought I don't want to think about. But everything's about your actions and responsibility. And nobody really wants to own their part in this case, just like all the other cases. Quentin Simon, always a blame game. Summer Wells, blame game. Cal City, blame game. Evelyn Boswell, blame game. They're all the same. Because there's murk in the water, you see. So where there's murk, there's going to be more murk. And it's going to use its tentacles to lash out and draw people in so they can come in with their 2 cents and their meddling asses and make it worse. And then here comes your he said and your she said and the lies. And the people running to the news and the tip hotlines with fake tips and astronomical storylines and what they saw and what a crystal ball said to them. Just a bunch of bullshit. And it's shameful. So I told myself, you want to be a part of the solution or be part of the problem? Well, I'd rather be a part of the solution, not the problem. Because in the end, the story's not about Queen. The story's not about me. The story's about a little boy missing. And I think it's time for everybody to grow up and own their shit in the part you've been playing in this social media circus, as Duty Ron has called it, a circus. Own your part. Because you can't get up here and complain about the case if you are also a part of the shit show. And I think a lot of you don't want to own that. So it's easy to talk about the Proudfoots, the Bowersoxes, talk about Seth, talk about Mr. Mathis, talk about Bullhorn Betty, talk about this YouTuber. But some of you who are chat members, you need to own your shit too, because you are also a part of the problem. So I'm calling a spade a spade. Everybody needs to own their part that they play in commenting, spreading lies, rumors, rhetoric. Own your shit. I can own mine. I think there's some BS in the story. I own that. I think somebody that knows the child personally got him gone. That's my opinion. But what I'm not going to do is be a part of all that other shit. Because I can honestly tell you that most of the people that talk about Sebastian, they are the same dirty motherfuckers that talked about Summer Wells and all of them. They all the same. They all cut from the same cloth. And they want to sit up on this panel, this highfalutin pedestal that don't exist, and pretend that they are different than the people in the story. They're different than the chat members. They're different than law enforcement. They're different than the parents and the guardians, the foster parents, but really you just like them. You're evenly yoked. And if you take down the flat screen, the monitor, the iPad, the computer, and you shut that shit down, you can best believe if you were a fly on a wall, you'd probably be grasping your chest. Like, damn, they just like the people in the story. Of course. The content creator is like the people in the story. They're just like them. People in the chat just like the people in the story. Don't you all get it? Most people are 1 minute from becoming a true crime story and they don't even understand. I talk about this all the time. I said it to myself, just in the people I know personally. They're 1 minute from being a true crime story because they don't know how to stay out of chaos. So they laugh and snicker at the people on the news. Oh, look what he did. Look what she said. But you just like him. You in some mischief. 24/7. Laptop closed. You down for the count. And that's what a lot of people don't seem to understand. Where do you think all these people come from that we're talking about? You think they're from some imaginary planet? No, honey. They're not. Don't you ever ask yourself that when you hear a horrible story about somebody missing? Somebody found decapitated, murdered, stuffed in a suitcase, stuffed in an attic, buried in a pit, buried in the grass, buried in the yard, put in a storage unit. Where do you think those people come from? Jupiter, Mars? They're right here, right beside you. They're your friends, your neighbors, associates. People you dated, slept with, had sex with, made babies with. It's all the same. Chaos breeds chaos, bottom line. That's why you have to choose the company you keep. Mr. Deuteron said that. You're judged by the people you hang with, who you hang around with, who you promote. Exactly. So you promote people that keep up shit, then people look at you and say, well, you a shit starter too. You can't get mad. But we do we not? I'm not like that. What do you mean? I wouldn't necessarily. And I've heard some of you say it in the chat. Well, I just watch it because I just want to see what they're talking about over there on their channel. But it still says something about you when you engage. So you got to own that. You can't just push it under the rug now and say, oh, I was just trying to see what they be talking about over there. But you see, you're commenting, so that means you still with the shit. You got to own that. That's why I said that what people don't understand, you are like the people in the story. You are like the content creator that keeps up the shit. You don't want to own it. I tell you, you sleep better if you own it. Own your part. Because that's what everybody's been doing ever since I started talking about true crime. Everybody starts picking off people, throwing daggers, who's doing what, who ain't doing what, who's copying who's stealing somebody's idea. I saw that with the Soto case a few weeks ago, with the content shit, with the people buying the information from the courts. And I thought, see, this is probably why the reason why the court shouldn't be selling that shit in the first place. That's a real prime example of how greedy this shit's gotten. You didn't buy that. You stole that from me. You ain't paid for nothing. How crazy this is? Because in the end, you got to prove it, right? All the person has to do is edit out you talking over the content and then play it on their channel and say they bought it. Checkmate. And when I heard that recently, that's when I knew I didn't want to have no part of this. No part of this true crime nonsense. I don't want no parts of it. Really, I knew before I started hearing all that nonsense with the Soto case. But once I saw them arguing about the content and the audio that they're allegedly paying for, because what some of you don't understand even about that situation, it's sinister and you don't even realize it. You're not allowing the courts to bring you the information. You're going and buying evidentiary material to put up on a YouTube channel. And I don't think a lot of people realize that's greedy as hell. Because you're buying it. See, there's a difference. Nobody's sharing it with you. You understand what I'm saying? It's not like somebody in the story is saying, hey, let me share this information with you about the case if you didn't know this. You're petitioning the court to pay for something that was private, that nobody knew about, except for the people investigating. And then you're putting it on a platform. And you don't think you think that's what? That's great? Because a lot of you are like that. You feel like, well, I want to know everything. I want to know everything. Well, you're not supposed to know everything. There's no way you could possibly know everything. Because even in that case, as nasty as that case is, you're not going to know everything. Because one, you're going to have people who lie. So there's no way you can know everything. It's not humanly possible. Just like with this case. You're not going to know everything about this case about Sebastian. Summer Wells. They're all the same. Who's going to tell you the truth about what happened to a child missing? Nobody. Nobody. There's going to be deception. That's the reason why the child is gone. Duh. Can't be no truth. And that's what you need to understand. You're not talking about these children for no reason. There's a reason that they're missing. This ain't no happenstance with these cases. The FBI will tell you that. It's not a YouTube assertion. It's a stat. Most children are murdered by their parents. Checkmate. Not the boogeyman, not Freddy Krueger, not Jason, not Michael Myers, their own damn parents, guardians, foster parents, relatives. That's who's getting them missing. Do we have cases of children being kidnapped for nefarious reasons, pedophilia, human trafficking? Oh, of course. But a lot of the children are missing because of their parents. Reason for the season. And that's how I assess these cases pertaining to missing children, missing adults, is that there's a reason for them being gone. And rarely is it that he or she walked out on his or her own. They were helped, if you get my drift. They were helped out of the way. They didn't run off. They're not hiding anywhere. They are literally gone. Disposed of by somebody that knows them and no longer had use for him or her. That's the spoken word. And that's a terrible, terrible thing. Hideous thing to do is unalive a person because you no longer wanted to be bothered with him or her. And it happens all the time. People kill their family members, their wives, their boyfriends, their girlfriends, their children, their neighbors, their co-workers, people who no longer want to be in relationships with them. People do it all the time. And the one sign they usually show that they're involved is the obvious. They act like they don't give a fuck. Isn't that the point of getting them gone? Stay woke. So you can't get mad because you're representing yourself like you care for a missing person or a deceased person, but your actions say otherwise. And now you're mad at the world, wondering why we as citizens are wondering why you look guilty. Well, you're acting guilty. How's that my problem? That's not my problem. It's not my fault. So you can't get mad if I say it. Hey, that guy looks guilty. Hey, that guy acts guilty. Hey, that lady's acting suspicious. Whether you did something or not, it's how you portray. It's how you're portraying yourself. You want to be mad at somebody, you get mad at your damn self. This is what you're putting out to the universe. It has nothing to do with me. Then you have a problem because I said something. Oh, or Peter or Dick said something. Oh, well, they're talking about me. They said we did something to the kid. They said I did something to my wife. I didn't murder her. I love her. Do you? I don't know. I don't know you. all I have to go on is the way you carry yourself. That's all anybody has. It's how you carry yourself, how you behave, and your word. And you're only worth your word. Not your house, your money, your car, your status, the clothes you're wearing. Your word is all you are worth. If your word is not bond, then you ain't worth nothing. So that's what we all need to take into account in how we act and how we talk. And we got to walk that out. We got to be about what we say. Now, are we going to fall short? Of course. But we got to walk it. If we're going to talk it, we need to walk it. God knows. I have to check my own self on some stuff I say, and I'm like, damn it, I done went back on my damn word. But this case is harrowing and it's baffling. And that's the question I pose to you all. It's this freedom of speech. How bad is it going to get? Because as I said, even if you are not stalking, following these people around, calling their phone numbers, messenger, you saying something negative about them on social media, should you also be standing in a court of law? Because you said something negative to them, negative about the Proudfoots, Bowersoxes, or Seth, or whomever on Facebook, IG, TikTok. Should our friends and family go call who? The district attorney? Well, my friend was talking bad about Seth or the Proudfoots in the inbox. Just saying, how far are we going to take this? Because I don't think they fear her. And that's my personal opinion. You can't be a bully and say you fear somebody. That makes no sense. And that's my assertion of Mr. Proudfoot. He's a bully. So he doesn't fear Audra. Now, what she's been doing and saying may not be above board, but he doesn't fear her. Oh, you believe that? He likes the interaction because it gives him, number one, power, and it gives him the control that he thrives on and needs. That's obvious with Mr. Proudfoot. He wants to be in control. And I won't doubt that is why Sebastian is not around. These people didn't have control of the situation. So how do we gain control? Process of elimination. Process of elimination. What will happen to Audra Griffin? Will she get jail time for violating the order of protection against the Bowersoxes and Proudfoots 6 times? Will a judge try to show her favor, give her maybe a couple of days in jail, a couple of weeks to see if she learns her lesson? Or maybe he'll watch and see what she does in these next few weeks to see if she will comply and not talk about them on her network. Her best bet is to not say nothing about the Proudfoots, period. Just don't say anything about them janky ass folks. Fuck them. I'm assuming she can't say anything about the child himself. He's an extension of them. It's fucked up. But we also have to own the parts that we play. So if indeed she said negative things about guns, machetes, and what's she going to do, this, that, and the other, you had them known, there will be a price to pay. because we do have to own the things we say up here and how we act out. Because you know I can get crunk. Everybody know the queen. I talk some trash when I get ready, okay? But it don't necessarily mean I'm going to go out here and I'm going to do something to somebody. Because a lot of times I've said crazy stuff like, oh, I could just push him down a flight of stairs. That don't mean I'm getting ready to actually go find this heathen and push him down a flight of stairs. You understand what I'm saying? But if something happens to him, then somebody could say, well, she said that on her channel. She was in the general area. Oh, she was near him. They did find him at the bottom of some stairs. You see where I'm going, don't you? Should she be in this situation? I'll put up a poll pertaining to Miss Audra. How's this going to affect her relationship with Seth Rogers? Seth is probably livid. They said he stormed out of the courtroom angry. So he obviously is not in tune with the Proudfoots, which is a sick situation, because these people should be on the same page. They have a child missing. That's why I told you there was murk in the water in the first place. So we really can't be shocked that the child is missing. Now, somebody could say, well, the boogeyman came and took him. No, I don't think so. No, ain't no boogeyman. Because I think the police have let you know there was never a boogeyman that came and took him out of the house. Nor did he wander out. Come on with it, Queen. So what do you have left if the boogeyman didn't come in? There was no break-in. There was no breakout. There was no wandering out. Come on, Queen. So really the Proudfoots and the Bowersoxes, you need to check yourself about getting mad about what you've put out to the universe per what the police have told us, which is basically no boogeyman came in. Slippery slope indeed. All of this is jacked up. So my advice to anybody that wants to talk about true crime, be very careful what you say. Be very careful the people you interact with in the story. Anybody that knows the victim. Be careful trying to gather information for the story. Tread lightly. Because you see, if you fuck around and find out, you will be a part of the story and not in a good way. And it's not worth it. Especially if it's just for likes and views, YouTube monetization, Cash App, PayPal. You see where I'm going. Because in the end, that's what the judge was alluding to pertaining to Miss Audra. Her not having viable employment, her not being an investigator, her not being a police officer. This is her hustle. But she's not the only one who relies solely on their platform monies. So that's why I say it doesn't really matter what you're talking about. Cleaning houses, decorating your house, remodeling, that's your platform. And if you can amass the funds to live off of what is generated to you by commercials and views and donations, then that is what it is. The problem is when it's true crime, it's the not being genuine in bringing the info to print. That is the problem. Because everybody's not genuine in the story. Everybody's not genuine that's reporting the story. Everybody's not genuine chatting about the story. That's where your problem lies. But it goes back to what I said in the beginning, is that people are people. So when you judge the people in the story, you should know you're judging thyself. Because one, we're all flawed, and these people in the story who possibly had something to do with the child missing, they're no different than you, me, or whomever. They're walking around, eating, breathing, sleeping, slumbering, until they decide to commit a crime. And it's a matter of law enforcement proving they are or they are not involved. But they're no different than you and myself. There's not no special place where crooks and criminals come from. We're all heathens at some point in life. It's just a matter of how far we're going to take it. And if we'll ever stand account for the fuckery. It's atrocious. And sadly, we have no information on these other stories, Miss Wells. No truth. None. We're almost at winter. And this boy child is still missing. Well, Justice, everybody has done wrong, sweetheart. That's what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about standing account for your ways, period. Just because you ain't murdered your child don't mean you ain't done some other fuckery. Where is Sebastian Rogers? Where is his child? And will the truth ever be revealed about this child? If the child was unalive, who unalived the child, and where are his remains? If the child is alive, who has him and where and why? And how long are you going to keep him? And what was the motive? Are any of the parents involved in the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers? Did any other entities help parents? Remove the child fatally. And will there be more protective orders against content creators? Cease and desist, excuse me. How far are these parents going to take this against the content creators? Because as I said, everyone has given their opinion pertaining to Sebastian Rogers, either positively or negatively. And in the end, it depends on your interpretation and who you believe is involved for you to say, well, I think he said something positive. Well, she said something negative. How far will these parents take this legal action against other participants? This is a very tragic case. I do not know what law enforcement knows, what they have in this investigation, but I wish they'd tell us something of use if they could. If they can, it would be nice to hear something. Dog bounty hunter, lawyers, investigators. What do you have, sir? $100,000 reward for information to the disappearance of this child. What have you and your sources gathered? Will somebody be taking Dog Bounty Hunter to court? He's giving his opinion. I don't see him in court. Why not? Can't do one without doing them all. Isn't that right? Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot, Bowersoxes, you suing and this and that. Well, you ain't took back a dog to court. Let's keep it real. What's good for the goose? He's blatantly said what he thinks happened. This is an issue of custody. So he said it in a roundabout way. He's not in court. Why not? That's why I said, how far you are willing to take this? Next, you'll be issuing a order of protection against Seth. That's why I see this going. I don't like what he's saying. I don't like how he's saying it. He thinks we did something to our child. Well, why would he not think that? I think he bit his tongue in the beginning, asked not to rock the boat. But see, everybody ain't like Seth. There's people who would have came full-fledged, act a donkey's ass, and wouldn't give a damn about an order of protection or nothing else. Because somebody have been laying flat down. Flat down, face down. This is definitely not no black folk story. And I'm not trying to be racist, but you know I keeps it real. Somebody would have been laying face down. I said it. Custody issue, arguing and bickering back and forth, and a whole fucking kid come up missing. Smoke in the city is putting it mildly. Somebody would have already been in jail. Let me make that clear. For attempted murder or murder. And it wouldn't have been about no child. It'd been about one of them damn parents. Because somebody would have hit somebody over to the white meat about their damn boy. So it wouldn't be no Nancy Grace and jumping from panel to panel. Oh, no, you can't jump nowhere. Your ass laying down in the hospital. Sucking on a tube. Call Nancy Grace from your hospital bed. Now, Queen, that wasn't nice. Hey, keeping it real. Tell Nancy Grace, you got to go to the hospital. You want to talk to him or her. They ain't sitting on no live stream. Sitting up in those damn camper talking shit and talking in circles. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Queen Crunk now. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. But then when you get on somebody else's panel, you hee-hawing it up, talking about milkshakes and Coca-Cola bottles and shit. That shows a blatant disrespect for the boy. So you can't get mad that people think you did something to him. You showed us what you were made of on that rinky-dink live stream. And the creator, once again, she was with the shit too. Still with it, in my opinion. But that's my point. Chaos breeds chaos. So dirt went to dirt. Come on with it, Queen. Merc stayed with Merc. That's all the octopus did, was slither them damn tentacles out and wrapped it around somebody's damn throat. Pull them in. It's the devil's work. That's his job. He uses people. So it shouldn't be no surprise the devil is using people, in this case pertaining to Sebastian Rogers. Because it's the devil's work that got him gone. It's the devil's work to keep this shit on the low. So somebody's got to decide to go in the belly of the beast to get the truth pertaining to the boy. So somebody got to go low to get to the truth. That's the bottom line. And use all means necessary for the truth. Not this hee-haw ass shit up here on YouTube and TikTok. Because this is just bullshit up here. And it's disgraceful because at some point we all have to, as I said, own the part that we play. And most of us know that what we have been doing and saying is not helpful. You got to own that. You got to own your part. Because what did I keep telling you about talking about true crime 24 hours a day? Eventually she will come around full circle like a boomerang and tap you on your shoulder or tap you at your door. And I don't need that karma coming to my doorstep because I see foolishness all the time. And I told myself, you don't need to keep talking about dead people all the time. Missing children all the time. You're asking for an omen. That's my personal belief. You don't have to agree. I don't care if you agree or not because you're not on my journey. See, I got to walk for Queen. You don't walk for me. YouTube don't walk for me. And the creator show don't walk for me. Because I can tell you, I can look at the people that sit on YouTube and I can tell you which ones 2 minutes from sitting in the grave. It's a whole bunch of them. Because they like trauma and drama. Because like I said, when the lights go down after the live stream, they probably got all type of bullshit going on. And they live it in their live stream. That's how you know who keeps up drama even when the cameras are off. It's obvious. It's real obvious. You got trauma as soon as you turn the computer down. Hee-haw ass drama. Because if you can get up here every day putting on and acting like you care and acting like you're concerned and, oh, I got the T, I got the 411. Let me tell you what Pookie said. Let me tell you what Bubba said and Ray Ray said. I've got the exclusive. And you're running around like a bat out of hell, acting a damn fool. I'm telling you. You asking for it. That karma gonna come back and it's gonna bite you in the ass. And that's just the way it is. And you don't have to like it. You have to own your part. And that's why I said everybody that's in these communities playing a role with this true crime nonsense, you have to own your part. It is a new day, Monday. And before I check out of here, I want to briefly tell you that if you have not paid attention to the news, there was a mass shooting in Nashville, Tennessee, near Tennessee State University. It is a historically Black university. And one person died, last checking, a 24-year-old, and some other children and others were shot. My friend was there at the scene. He was a vendor selling food, as he does here in the general area. And he was right there when the shooting took place. Later today, he will be on this network to give you the rundown of what he saw and witnessed at the homecoming event. Please check my community page for a picture of Mr. Raouf Muhammad. He's a friend of mine. And I did not have any idea that he was up there in Nashville at the festivities until today. I got a notification from YouTube of the shooting, and then I opened it up and saw my friend's face up there on the screen and heard his voice. And I said, I know I'm not still sleeping. Because first I thought I was dreaming. And I said, wait. I said, that's my damn friend up there. So I called him tonight, and he said he would love to come on to the Vault XL and give you the rundown of what transpired that fateful evening. Prayers to all of those who were shot and the one male who perished. There were children who also shot. And Mr. Muhammad will share how he came to be a vendor there, what he was doing at the time of the shooting, and how everything unfolded and his take on the violence in the Black community there and elsewhere and here at home. And also, I told him I would like for him, if he wants to also share the story of his sister who was brutally murdered here in Knoxville, Tennessee 3 years ago. So please join me tomorrow live for an exclusive interview with someone who was right there on the ground when that mass shooting took place in Nashville, Tennessee, near Tennessee State University. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $BigAngie129 Cash App. Follow the Queen on the Newsbreak app. I am now at 307 followers there. Thank you, Jesus. God is good. It takes a while for me to upload content. It's a little trickier than uploading over here on YouTube, but it's a process. But the same content that you get here on this network at YT is the same business I give you over there on the Newsbreak app. All you have to do is download the app, put in your location. That way you can get up content pertaining to breaking news in your general area, plus around the world in the United States. Type in sources, the Vault XL, and my page will come up and you will see all my content and posts, my videos. And anytime I comment on an article or video, you will get a notification pertaining to the Vault XL. I want to thank all my followers, all my new followers, all the people who are watching the videos over there, because I get a lot of commentary from over there as well. I just want to thank you. So welcome all Newsbreak followers and YT followers as well, subscribers. I really appreciate it. God bless you. No, sweetie, I don't have a time yet. We didn't set a time up, but before I go live, I will put an announcement up on my community page, and then you'll get a notification from YouTube before I go live. So if you're a subscriber to this network, you should get a notification of the live stream. But I want you to tune in to this live so you can get a firsthand account of what he saw and witnessed while he was on the ground selling food to the people in the community when the shooting erupted. Once again, prayers to the victim, those who were shot, praying that there are no more fatalities, because I have not watched the news since getting the first update this afternoon. But one person has been declared deceased from that shooting. As I told him, the news said that 5 people that were rushed to the hospital were also involved in the shooting. He said he had not heard that. So I will come back with an update before going live, and then I will let Mr. Raouf tell his story to the general public on this network. Prayers for Sebastian Rogers, prayers for Summer Wells, prayers for Justice Evelyn Boswell case, which will be coming up soon. I'll bring you that information. Prayers for our sweet little baby, Quentin Simon. And prayers for all the missing children and missing adults, either found and unfound. Prayers for our friends and neighbors in Florida, because many of those people are suffering dearly. And I do believe a lot of those people will probably be moving out of the general area as par for the course. Their journey has ended and they are tired of living down there amidst the storms. Prayers for our friends here in Tennessee and North Carolina who are still reeling from Hurricane Helene. Prayers for all those loss of life and also those who still have not been found. Lord have mercy. Thank you all so much. I really thank you all for following this network. I'll bring you an update to any story that I've covered as I get it, because right now my main focus is P. Diddy. It's just easier for me to focus on really one major case at a time, because with P. Diddy, every day is something new. Once again, Devontae Swing of Jodeci has been implicated in a alleged gang rape of a woman 30-something years ago. A woman has ID'd him as someone who was there at the house and had knowledge of an alleged rape by Aaron Hall and Sean Puffy Combs. Miss Kidd has spoken out again pertaining to Sean on News Nation. I have not opened that video because I don't care for her and I don't trust her and I don't trust her client. That's just my personal opinion. There's something not right about them. And I'm not here to say the lady didn't get raped, but there's something about all this sex tape business and she's the one with the tape. It don't sit right with me. And you can't make me understand it, how a victim has a tape of another victim. That doesn't make any sense to me. And to try to sell it to a victim, that means your spirit is tainted. You can't be a victim and you're trying to extort another victim. That makes no sense to me, and it ain't right. So I don't trust her, and I don't trust her attorney, Miss Kidd. And this Diddy case is out of control as well. It's through the roof, and I don't see it getting any better. But I will bring you an update pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs. Any other cases I've covered, I will bring you an update to the latest developments on those said cases as I can get the time, because they're all running concurrent right now, and it's just overwhelming trying to keep up with doing shorts and videos and also taking content over to the Newsbreak app. You all have a wonderful, wonderful week. I will put up a scary movie for the week. Right now, the countdown's going to be most of the Halloween franchise. I've already given you number 1, part 1 as a suggestion last week. So I'm going to go ahead and give you part 2 as a suggestion for this week until we count it all the way down to Halloween. And also you'll get suggestions for the weekend. Also the documentary pertaining to Robert Kelly's daughter, Joan, her journey and her story. She's also alleging that he sexually molested her at the age of 8 or 9. That is now playing on the TVEI app on Roku. Download the app and you have to pay a $5 fee monthly to get the content from that network as to watch part 1 of the documentary. It is a 2-part, I believe, 2 or 3-part documentary. So you do have to pay for that content unless someone has downloaded it to the YouTube queue. Thank you, Scott. Woo! That's a lot of information. Once again, prayers for Sebastian. Prayers for answers. Prayers for the truth. I don't see this case getting any better. I see it getting worse by the minute. And that's a sad thing to even have to say about a missing kid. But it's not his fault that he came here and ended up in the situation however he ended up. It's not his fault that he got the parents that he got, that he didn't get what he needed in life, because I don't think he did. And I believe that's the reason why he's not here. And I really feel bad for him, as I do most missing person cases, especially dealing with children. Children don't ask to be here. They don't choose their parents and they don't choose their circumstances. And that's what everybody needs to understand. When you're lying down having sex with people, you need to think about long term, such as having a kid, being a parent. Are you equipped to be somebody's mother or father? Young people, you need to understand this. If you're not ready to be a parent, please don't do it. I don't recommend it. Because sadly, somebody will have to stand in the gap for you if you can't follow through. And that can be a problem. Because we've seen that as well with children. Somebody else steps in that's supposed to be aiding care, and they're doing a worse job than where the damn kid came from. And we're seeing a lot of that. A lot of that. Children being hurt by others who stepped in to rear them. And I don't know exactly what went on in the life of Sebastian, but I don't think it was great. And maybe he did not feel comfortable telling someone how he felt, his emotions, how he was being treated. But I wish he had. And maybe possibly he would be here today. I'm going to say this pertaining to Sebastian. You can't hide from the truth. The truth will find you out. So whomever wants to hear this and take heed, because I know you really don't give two fucks, the truth will find you out. And oh, what a vanglorious day that will be when the truth finds you out and we get justice for this child. Because he most definitely deserved better than what he got. And God don't like ugly. Praying for the truth and praying for justice for Sebastian Rogers. Thank you for joining me. You have been listening to the Vault XL.